I'm just a girl from South Central LA who had a dream. Well, not just had a dream, but I was living my dream. I was working in the entertainment industry, and then one day, I woke up to the fact that I had built my life, my dream, my career based on other people's perceptions. See, I had become the Nicole that other people thought I should be, and one day, I woke up to the fact that I was so worried about other people's perceptions that I had not even stopped long enough to ask myself, what do I want? It was in that moment that I woke up to the gift inside of me. And that's when I began to live in what I call my fears.
Some of you are sitting on top of fear in this room. And you got to understand, your faith doesn't get activated until you're in the face of fear. So don't try to run from it. It won't go away. You got to work through it. You got to do it afraid. And the reason that you're afraid is because what you have inside of you is bigger than where you already are. So we're going to do the work. Say, do the work.
For the last 20 years, I've been determined to define Nicole for myself and to live as the highest and best version of who I was created to be, and then to hold the space for others to do the same, to provide a realm of reflection where their purpose, their know-how, their gifts and talents can be realized and activated, and actually so that they can cash in on their calling.
That gift in you is not for you. It's for every person that needs you. See, you are the answer to somebody's problem. And every day you're not standing in the power of that gift, you are late for work.
I really approach living out the DNA in me. That's what I call your distinct natural ability. See, I approach that as non-negotiable. It's not an option, but a responsibility. See, knowing that gift in me, just like the gift in you, see, that gift is the answer to somebody's problem. And it really is up to me to be that solution. Not just for me, but for the millions of people that I get to touch when I coach other entrepreneurs, coaches, speakers, and authors.
See, every day that you think, well, I'm too scared, or I'll do that next year, or I'll do that next time. Or I don't have enough money to do that, or I'm not smart enough to do that, or I can't figure that out. You're messing up somebody else's blessing. When you become non-negotiable about your gift, excuses don't have anymore. You throw every excuse out of the window, and you do whatever it takes.
You don't want to be someone who watches other people shine. See, people who stand by, who settle for less than their best, who settle for being mediocre, who only live in their comfort zone will never obtain the abundance that's waiting for them.
I got this. Anything you need, what happens? I got this. And know that I'm your sister friend, and if you need help in that journey to get to your I got this, then guess what? I got you.
Welcome, everybody. And Nicole Roberts Jones is, just as she said, your sister friend. And she truly have you. And it's just an honor to have her with us here at Elevation Global Media Group. I'm in the studio, and she's going to be virtually zoomed in a minute. But to have her and to share this wonderful gift with you all, I want you right now to go share this broadcast. I want you to, in the comments section, I want you to start tagging people, especially those women that have a desire to start a business, or they have a business, and let's just say they may be stuck. This is the time for you to gather all your friends and everyone you know and tell them to come and learn what this powerful woman of God has done and how she is be the answer. Like she said, be the answer, how she has positioned herself not only to totally walk in her assignment, but to walk in her assignment with power and authority and to bring others alongside her. I just want to welcome to the screen, Nicole Roberts Jones. Welcome, Nicole.
Yay! Excited to be here. Thank you, Cassandra, for all you are and all you do, for being the powerhouse woman that you are. I'm just beyond excited to join you tonight for this conversation.
Well, I'm just going to say it's a pleasure to do life with you, Nicole, because that's how I see it. Yeah. It's a pleasure to, iron sharpens iron. And it's a pleasure to have you sharpening me, and we're sharpening each other.
Yeah, that's for sure.
And just to see that all that God is going to do with us in our obedience. Let's be honest. Yeah. So, Nicole, I do want you to tell the story before we get started into the other things that you do. Is how you connected with Elevation Global Media Group, because that story excited me. When you told me what you were doing on a certain day and what was happening, because I'm going to let you tell a story, because there's some nuggets that people need to get out of that story.
Right.
And I want you to tell that story.
So, first I got to say that, one of my favorite Bible verses is all things work together for the good. Not some things, not a few things, but all things. So years ago, I don't remember where it was. It must have been 5, 6, 7 years ago. I was a guest on Cassandra's radio show. I had such a great time and we stayed connected. So last year, I literally was having an event and I was in a studio and I was having the worst time. Now, how many of you guys know John 10:10, the enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy. But Jesus says, I've come that you have life and have it more abundantly. Well, I was in the middle of steal, kill, and destroy. Let me say it like that, right? And so I remember feeling frustrated and deflated and still trying to keep my wits about me, trying to keep myself by the cross, right? Let me keep it all the way real, right? Because I'm from South Central LA. Y'all heard me say that if you were here during the video. So I was trying not to be South Central. I was trying to be the Jesus girl that I know I'm supposed to be, but South Central is rising up. So I'm saying that because I was telling Cassandra in the middle of me feeling frustrated, working with a production partner, and I'm gonna tell you, from the sound going out to the Wi-Fi going out and just everything. Let me not list everything. Everything that could go wrong did go wrong. And I knew I had to find a new partner because I'm committed, because the thing I'm doing is not just because I want to be seen. It's not just a hobby. I'm not just having fun. This is my calling. I'm here. And so in the middle of that event, I knew I had to find a new partner. So I started Googling, looking at studios in DMV, and I couldn't find anybody. And then I'm Googling through Facebook, and lo and behold, Cassandra had literally just posted that she just opened, like she was having her ribbon cutting ceremony. And I said, oh my God, done. That's my answer. And here we are.
Wow. Wow. And you know what? There's some nuggets in there. And I hope that that our viewers got that. Number one, Nicole, just because you had a bad experience, you did not stop.
Yep.
You did not stop.
Yep.
Number two, you began to do the legwork for your next. You began to
and it was because I did the work. I want y'all to get this, because I could have quit. I wanted to quit. I was done. I wanted to cuss him out and go home. Let me keep it all the way real, because I'm always going to keep it real. I want to cuss him out, take my butt back to my hotel and be done. Okay. But it was because in the middle of feeling frustrated, what I was trying to do is preoccupy myself, to be honest with you, because what I wanted to, it was rising up and I knew I had to keep myself preoccupied. That is when literally, and it was God. There's no way I should have seen Cassandra's ribbon cutting. If I would have been doing the thing that my flesh said to do, I would never seen that ribbon cutting.
And not only that, like you said, how we can so get caught, or let's just say we can get stuck in our disappointment. We our minds will start playing tricks on us. You know, that's just not a rap song, but your mind start playing tricks on you, and all of a sudden you find yourself in this rut. And what happens when you're in that rut? You'll stay still instead of move forward, or you think that ain't possible because that person couldn't do it. But the whole message of this, number one, there was a divine connection when Nicole first came on the radio show. So Nicole stayed connected. Nicole, she said she would stalk me on my social media. She would watch my social media page, and she saw that not only did she see that I was still, active, because I was still doing, she saw me growing. She saw me doing more. Yeah. She saw my fruits, expanding.
Yep.
My garden enlarging. So this is the whole thing is out with the divine connections and the people that God has put in our life, that we together, Nicole, let's just say this, we together can be the answer.
Yeah. Say
We
that.
together can be the answer. And Nicole,
Yeah.
you've had some major milestones and accomplishments in your life. I remember after, I think it was after our interview, that you did something for Steve Harvey.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep.
You was one of his coaches, and you were doing so many other things, and you were being featured in Black Enterprise. You have, God has been enlarging your territory.
Yep.
He has.
Yep.
And I would say this, because you are faithful over that in which He has given you.
And can I?
Go ahead. I was going to say,
talk to us a little bit about that. Look, see, I was feeling it. I was going to start talking about it. So I always call it, there's a Bible verse that talks about, as long as we're living, there will be seed, time, and harvest, right? Ooh. And so I want you guys to get, now I always say they put seed time as one word, but it's not. It's two words. It's seed, time, and then harvest. So when you were born to this world, all of us, including me, including Cassandra, God placed a seed in you. We call it DNA, and I call it distinct natural ability. And the thing I think is interesting about DNA is we have, and I did a study on DNA since I talk so much, we have 2.4 billion cells in us. And no two of us have the same molecular makeup. That's how deep it is, right? He gave us all specific DNA. So you came here on assignment. And so what you've got to do is water that seed. See, God gives you free will. He ain't gonna water it. He gonna say, girl, I gave it to you. What you gonna do? Or fella, guy, I gave it to you. What you gonna do with it? And so literally what you see now in business, in my life, is harvest, because I've been watering my seed. This year is 28 years. And so I've been watering it. Now, I want you guys to get this. When you first plant a seed, it's in the dark. It's in the dirt. I call it see nothing days. So many people think you're going to have overnight success. That's not real. And if it is, it's not going to last, right? It's going to wither away, right? So literally I've been blessed to work with some great, whether it's people just like all of you, which I still think you're equally great as a Steve Harvey, because all of us have a purpose, a gift, right? I've been blessed to work with people like Dr. Deborah Tillman, America's Super Nanny, and so many others. And literally all I do, and it's really my calling in this thing called life, to do two things. One, to help you live as the highest and best version of who God created you to be. And second, that you create multiple streams of income from it. See, God is a God of increase. He created us to multiply. So when I'm in alignment with the harvest comes, because I keep watering my seed as I do that. That's watering my seed. So that's really what it is. That's what you've seen is the harvest that's come.
Wow. And Nicole, and let's be honest, so many people during this pandemic has experienced that I see nothing day.
Yep.
I see nothing. I'm stuck. I don't see how I can get out of this. How can I even possibly start a business? How can I pursue my dream because of the way the economy is? I was out of work for so X amount of time. The divorce rate went skyrocket during the pandemic. Mm-hmm. So can you talk to our viewers a little bit more about what to do in the see nothing time?
So, Hebrews 11:1 says this. And by the way, I see some of y'all are joining. So say, hey, and when you see me look over here, that means I'm looking for your comments, by the way. So I'm not looking for something else. I'm looking at my iPad to see your comments. So you see, right? Okay. So with that said, Hebrews 11:1 says, faith is a substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So what you see sometimes is what we believe, but God works in the spirit realm in places we cannot see. So it's in these places. That's that darkness. That's that seed in the ground, y'all. I'm going to always go back to the dark. Listen, you guys remember we used to develop pictures. Y'all remember that? Some of y'all might not be old enough to remember developing pictures. Pictures were developed in light. They were developed in darkness. So when you were in a dark place, that's that development time. See, I believe, listen, when we first started 2020, we were talking about 2020 vision, 2020 vision. And then COVID happened and people were like, oh, I still believe it was a year of vision. See, God is intentional. Now, I know some of us people, so I want to give you my condolences. Hey, Latrice, I want to give you my condolences for losing people. I'm talking about that. The rest of us, God set us all the way down so we can get our purpose in alignment. He gave us intentional time because many of you work a 9 to 5. And so he said, look, girl, I'm gonna give you time to get your business aligned alongside your 9 to 5. And so I believe that COVID allowed all of us to have a moment to really look at where we are. Take a moment to check yourself before you wreck yourself. That's another song there, right? So that you can really look at how are you living in full alignment to who God created you to be. Listen, I often say this, when we were born, God invested gifts and talents in us. He was really specific when he gave you what he gave you, right? There's no coincidence that you're good at certain things. You have a natural propensity for certain things. And so because he gifted you with these certain things, there are people that he also assigned to you that are your assignment because they need that gift from you. So when you die and get to go meet God face to face, he's going to say, well, where's my return on my investment? Where you at, boo? What you do? What happened? See, I don't want God to say to me, Nicole, what happened? I want him to say, girl, job well done. You did it. Right? I want him to be proud. I don't want him to say, go back and get yourself together. So I think that God paused the nation because so many of us were out of alignment with our assignment.
Mm. And Nicole, you actually just spoke what you talked about in Romans. Some people say, how can God possibly get something? How can something possibly come good out of something bad? Yeah. And that was with Romans. You say God works all things out for our good and his glory. Yeah. So, and if I think it's a perspective thing. And when we realize that, okay, because some people may have took that time, and let's just say it, they misused it. They may say, I'm going to watch more TikTok, or I'm going to watch more TV. Right. But then there were others that heard the voice of God, heard him speaking, and they got their pen, they got their pad, and they began to write the vision and make it plain, as Rebecca said. And then they said, and then let's just say Elevation Global Media Group opened during the pandemic.
Oh, you got to tell that story because you didn't know the pandemic was going to happen. Look, she's supposed to be interviewing me. You got to tell that story because it's so good.
And Nicole, it's I'm not going to even say it's crazy. It's divine. The way it happened, because knowing that, what God's showing you, because I used to go to hairdresser across the hall, girl got to keep her head down. So I used to go to hairdresser across the hall, and all of a sudden I'm sitting in the hairdresser. I see this empty space. And I asked my hairdresser, I said, hey, is that space available over there? Because this was my first time coming. Actually, it was a young lady my daughters referred me to. And I came in and I said, is that space available over there? Because God brought to my mind again the vision that he has shown me. And she said, yeah, but sometimes they're hard to get into. So I probably tried to get in contact with this man for 3 months. If even, it may have been 2 months. Right. When he finally reached me, I said, hey, I am interested in I want to see the space because I'm interested in opening a studio. So he took me through here, and I began to tell him what I wanted to see. He began to write. He told me to draw, and I'm not an artist. So what I had to do at that moment, I had to take what was in my head and put it on paper. And then I said, do you understand what I'm writing? Do you understand this? And so then I walk in, and here's everything that I had in my head right here. Gave me the keys without getting a check first. That's the thing with God. Right. You get keys, but when you're walking in your favor, God will allow man to do that. Gave me the keys and access before he got a check. Yep. And then all
this happened before COVID, y'all. I want you to get this. We didn't know COVID was going to happen. Okay.
Nope. But we still had to continue to move. But one thing God did was he said that we were going to end our show. I'm not going to mention the radio station network name, but we were going to end our show with that network. At first, we thought it was January, but we said, no, let's end it in March. We had already told them we were no longer going to do a radio show with them in March. And what happened in March? COVID, yeah. Had already said, so this is what it is when you hear God. When you hear the voice of God and it's God, you gotta move.
And here's the thing I want y'all to get. Let me say this because this is yummy, and some of y'all aren't gonna get this. So let me connect the dots for you. So God showed her a vision of Elevation Global Media. Okay, she was obedient to the thing that God dropped in her spirit. And I want you guys to get this. Some of us hear God's voice audible. Sometimes we hear rumblings in our spirit, and it could be anything in between. Okay.
So she heard her God telling her. She was obedient to what she knew. She did it. And then the pandemic hit. And I want you guys to get how many of us had to do online events? See, she was already ready because she was obedient. And so what happened was people started looking at her because she was here. I want y'all to get this. Listen, I had to do an online event. I found her because she was obedient to God. It's so good, right? So if she wasn't obedient and I wasn't obedient, if I would have cussed him out like I wanted to. If she wasn't obedient, I keep it real, y'all, right? If she wasn't obedient and I wasn't obedient, we wouldn't. Oh my God, we got something yummy coming. I know we're gonna talk about it, but I'm so excited because what's that saying? Obedience is better than sacrifice.
Yes.
And what I get out of that is you don't have to sacrifice to be obedient. It might feel like a sacrifice sometimes. It might feel like you're letting some things go, but God will always give you double for what you let go to be obedient to Him.
That's it. And Nicole, of course, we're getting into that is all a part of that amazing sign that you have behind you. Be the answer. Be the answer. Mm-hmm. How is it that someone can be the answer? And you know, like you said, I was the answer for you. Mm-hmm. You're the answer for me. But what is behind be the answer?
So when I first launched my business, so let me just really quickly, for those of you that don't know me, let me tell you my story so you understand kind of my trajectory and how I got to this place, and then I will answer your question about be the answer. So as I said a few minutes ago, September 19th marked 28 years that I've been doing this. Every time I said that, well, how old are you? Right. But anyway, so 28 years that I've been in this work. So in 1993, when I had the job I've dreamed of since I was 7 years old, I worked in the entertainment industry. At the time, I worked for Viacom's largest cable network. We had an outreach to over 89 million homes on a weekly basis. Then from there, I worked in casting for the #1 TV show on Fox. And then from there, I worked with the entertainment group, and what we produced generated over $12.6 billion a year. And I'm sharing that with you because I want you to realize I did not have a small job. Plus, those of you that know me, like I think you know me, you know I was going to all Hollywood parties, right? Because Sister Girl loves to dance, okay? So I love Jesus and I love to dance. So anyway, so listen, I was living the dream. But can I tell you, in the dark of the night when I was by myself, I started to feel in conflict to that dream because I felt like something was missing. And I didn't understand how I could feel like this when I loved my job. I loved every minute of everything I did, but I felt a hole in my soul. And so in the middle of me feeling like this, and of course, all my girlfriends kept saying, are you crazy? You know, we went to this VIP party and you on the red carpet and right. So in the middle of me feeling dazed and confused, Cassandra, one of my girlfriends invited me to volunteer at a youth program at our church one Friday night. And as I started working with young women that Friday night in our church, as their eyes lit up, my heart lit up. And I said, oh my God, this is it. I didn't know what to call this thing. I didn't know what this was. This was 1993, y'all. This was before there was such thing as a coach. But for the first time in my life, my soul was alive. So I had a decision to make. And I'm sharing that because somebody might be in that place right now. Little did I know, y'all. Obviously, I made the decision, right? But little did I know, working with African-American teenage girls, that one program in my church became 10 chapters in 10 churches throughout the country. See, little did I know that over 500 young men were waiting for me to step up and step out and that I was their answer. So I'm sharing it with you because in the middle of doing that, now cut to some 17 years in, by 2010, my business had taken off in every way I dreamed of that night in my church. So then I had a for-profit and a nonprofit. So I told you about my nonprofit, 10 chapters, 10 states. My for-profit, working with women, and I do work with men too. I always say I always work with a few good men, right? But I had a coaching roster, coaching women to really bankroll their brilliance. And so much that I couldn't take another client. So in 2010, my first book came out. And this is really, I want you guys to get this. This is why I'm passionate about what I teach and why I'm sharing this with you. When my first book came out in 2010, I started getting invitations to speak all over the country. So I saw a realization of my purpose, of the thing that God dropped in my spirit in that church that night in 1993. It was happening. However, I was only generating $13,000 a year. I was about to say 19,000, that'd be a lie. 13,000 a year. Y'all know that's lower than the poverty limit, right? Mm-hmm. And so I remember sitting on my couch after a speaking weekend. It was November 2010. And of course, you guys know I had a daytime job because you can't live on $13,000, right? So I'm telling you that because my daytime job was, I was an adjunct professor at Boston University. My class is at 8 a.m. Now, this is Sunday night, 8 a.m. Monday morning. I had syllabus. I had no lecture notes. I don't even think I had read the books I told my students to read.
And so I remember sitting on my couch saying, God, I can't do this. I'm tired. I remember feeling a tear stream down my eye. And at the same time, I felt in conflict because how dare I feel like I need to quit when I know this is my purpose. So I said, God, if this is really you, you need to show me something because this ain't working. So to make an even longer story short, what I realized is I had taken myself as far as I could take myself. See, what most of us don't realize is that Bishop A.R. Bernard said the tools you use on this level are not sufficient for your next. And so despite the fact that I was an adjunct professor at not one, but two prestigious universities, I had a master's degree. Look, I had been teaching and coaching all over the world. I still didn't have the tools I needed to grow a business. So I hired a coach. She cost $30,000. Y'all know I couldn't afford it. I couldn't afford not to do it. So in my first coaching session, my coach showed me when she said this, and I'm wrapping this up, going to answer your question. She said this, Nicole, so you're an adjunct professor. You taught at USC for almost 5 years. I'm from LA. Then you moved to Boston. You teach now at Boston University. What you teach is program development. Yeah. Then she said you used to have a consulting firm in LA. You went and developed programs for businesses. You work with heads of state. You work with celebrities. You work with small business owners. Yeah. The next thing she said to me was, Nicole, you don't have any programs in your own business. Duh. So why am I saying this? To answer Cassandra's question? See, I had not stopped long enough to realize that my brilliance was an answer to a group of people. And I didn't stop long enough to create the strategy I needed so that I can serve more people and do more good in this world. It was like I heard the heavens open up when my coach said that. Right? I heard Jesus, yeah, right, all excited because it was like I had an epiphany. See, most of us don't realize that our brilliance, our DNA is in our blind spots. We can't coach ourselves. And so literally I developed a program that night. I had a speaking gig in 2 days. I made $10,000 that speaking gig with my first program. And I didn't just develop any old program. I created strategy. That's the other difference. And so I literally went, to make a long story short, from 13,000 to over 200,000 within 6 months. And I've been going by leaps and bounds. So what Be the Answer is I realized that, as I said at the beginning of our time together, we all were born to be the answer in this world. Think about anything that's created. Listen, my iPhone was an answer for me. How about y'all? Right? That's me when I was little. The iPhone is an answer. A car was created as an answer to a transportation problem. And then an airplane was created because the car wasn't enough. It was an answer. So your gift, your DNA, God put that in you at this point in time. He knew you would be born. He knew how he would use you. You were created to be the answer. And so literally what I realized when my business was in deficit, when I was broke, I wasn't making bank. I was broke, is that I wasn't being the answer. I was so busy trying to do what I saw everybody else doing to have a successful business that I hadn't stopped to get clear on my DNA. So that's literally when I got clear, what I realized is it took me 17 years. And those of you that know the children of Israel going around that mountain for 40 years on a 40-day trip, it turned to taking me 17 months to get a clue, but it took me 17 years. And so when I prayed, God began to show me that he had me go through all of that so I could stand in the gap for everyone that is in that same place I am, that I could help you understand the strategy you need to be the answer you were born to be in this world.
Wow, that's an incredible story, Nicole, because I also see how God saw, because God knows all, right? He sees all, but he knew exactly how far Nicole can get, and then he sent that coach to help you to hear better, to see better, and to strategize better.
But I will say, me hiring that coach, listen, I had to do knees knocking, teeth chattering. I had to do it afraid. I told you I made $13,000. She cost $30,000. I didn't even know if I could pay for it, to be honest with you. I was like, can I make payments? Can I put the first on my credit card? And then my credit card would go through, right? Because listen, I realized I had to risk it all to gain it all. I wasn't trusting my coach. I was trusting God and the gift that God put inside of me.
Yeah.
I knew that I was going to do whatever it took. And I'm going to tell you, because I literally, again, Hebrews 11:1, faith is the substance of things for the evidence of things not seen. I didn't see how, but I knew this was my answer. So I had to do it. And I'm going to tell you, because I did it, I would do it all again, but I did not know it was even going to work. I didn't know.
Yeah, so you took a faith step.
Yeah.
So we're going to listen to this song, and we'll be right back with more about Be the Answer in Nicole. God is opening doors for you. He is. And you notice that they had to walk through the open door. They had to open it and then walk through. So, Nicole, I had not heard of this song. I probably heard it before, but I'm going to be honest, didn't pay attention to it and didn't watch the video until you were in the studio yesterday. We were doing our production meeting, and you mentioned this song, and it stuck with me. I said, I got to go find out about the song, and I wanted to play it. Why is that song so important to you? Or what?
Ooh, okay, first of all, you guys, I told you I like to dance. I'm over here in my groove on, but the thing I love, if you listen to the whole song, first of all, he says, God has not given you a spirit of fear. It's a Bible verse, Proverbs 3, 4, and 5, I think. Look, I know the Bible verse. I know the Bible, but I won't always know where it is, but I know it's in the Bible, right? So God is not giving you the spirit of fear, but power and love and a sound mind. That's good because listen, as I told my story a few years ago, I was scared, but I kept saying, okay, I've got to trust God. I have to call myself back to my power, my love, and my sound mind, right? So that's one reason why I love that song, because God never tells you not to be afraid. You're going to be afraid. He just says, he reminds you that he isn't giving you that fear, right? That's the enemy trying to work through your emotion. The emotion, procrastination, the word about person, where
I know Nicole is experiencing, maybe there she having some storms where she is. Nicole, you're gonna have to repeat that because you have got, you know, you're frozen on us. So you may have to log off and come back in. Oh, here she goes.
Here I am. Look, I told Cassandra we started. There's a storm over here by where I live. So if I go out again, y'all hang tight. I'll be back. Right. So as I said earlier, when we started, God, the enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy. So the enemy works through your emotion. So listen, whether you're feeling procrastination, which is rooted in fear, if you are feeling or worried about perception, OPP, other people's perception, that's rooted in fear. If you're dealing with the pain of the past, all those things have roots in fear, and fear will stop you in your tracks. Faith, listen, you don't really have faith until you have to face fear, right? And really faith is fear in reverse. So that's one reason why I love that. Number one. Number two, it talks about open door season, baby. I believe it's open door season for everybody. But you, like you said at the beginning, you got to be willing to do the work to open the door. There's a Bible verse that says faith without works is dead. And I'm going to be honest with you. A couple years ago, I was on a live like this, and a woman kept saying she was going to pray about Be the Answer, which we're going to talk about in a few minutes. Why should I come to Be the Answer? And obviously, y'all know I'm a God's girl. It bothered me that she said she was going to pray about it. So then it bothered me that bothered me. So then I prayed about it. And what God said back to me when I prayed, like, God, why does that bother me? He said, she's waiting on me and I am waiting on her. That song is a personification of that prayer. It's open door season. Are you going to do the work? God has given you free will. He planted a seed. He's done. Everything else is up to you.
And that's it. Do the work. And it's just so, and I think about what you said about the fear part, Nicole, and other people's opinion. You talked about that. Sometimes we have some people that may not be moving forward because you are stuck in someone else's opinion about you. Yeah. What does God say about you? He says in Psalms 139, you are wonderfully made. Mm-hmm. He knows how many pieces of hair is in your head. So I just want people to take this and to begin to move forward in what God has called them to do. Yeah. God puts people in your path. Because sometimes, let me just say this, sometimes your dream is so big. You ask for help. God sends help. But you have to recognize the help. Yeah. Because God gives us all the free will. Now, Nicole, talk to us about Be the Answer and why people need to be in the room. So first, let me say this, because as you said, what you just said, what just dropped in my spirit is, listen, God is a God of increase. I said this earlier. So that means he wants to do for all of us abundantly above all we can ask or think. So if it's bigger than what you can ask or think, it's bigger than what you know, it's bigger than what you can see, it's bigger than what you can dream or even fathom, it's going to be scary because you ain't never been there. It's like, oh, God, I can do that, right? So I believe God puts us in places that we have to rely on him. That's where faith kicks in, right? So the reason I created Be the Answer is for that very reason. Some of you guys have a 8-figure dream and you only got 5 figures in your bank account, right? Some of you guys have a 10-figure dream, and I said 10, I did, and you have 6 figures in your bank account. See, God never checks your bank account. He's checking your faith.
So in order for you to go after that abundantly above all, you need new tools, you need strategy, and you need a coach. And so what God began to show me in my struggle years is that he wanted me to be that coach, right? That's right, look, you can tell I
Placid.
talked to a class. Placida, girl, I will mess your name up all through and through, but I will know who you are because I'm hooked on phonics. So I was talking in my English class because that's what I did when I was little. So with that said, I created the space that I knew I needed when I was failing. I did not know where to go. I got a little piece over here, a little piece over here. I got pieces from my coach, but I still needed more. And so what be the answer is a coaching intensive. It's not an event where it's a whole bunch of speakers speaking at you. It's me and you for 2 days. And I walk you through what I call your more. And it's really the equation for you to go after your abundantly above all. So first, let me say this is for you if you have not yet started your service-based business. And what I mean by service-based is if you want to just have cups, by the way, this is my vitamin water. This is vitamins. This is not Kool-Aid. If you want to have a service-based business, like you want to sell cup holders, you know, that's not a cup holder, a cell phone holder, a pen, a lipstick applicator, I can't help you. However, I have a client who has a lipstick applicator line. And when she came to me and said, you can't help me, by the way, I love a challenge, right? I said, oh, baby, yes, I can. I said, do people call you to pick your brain? She said, yeah. I said, how much? Ooh, a lot. I said, about what? She said, oh, how to manufacture. Hello. You're giving away your intellectual property for free. So yes, we created a whole manufacturing program that she is generating revenue from. So that's what Be the Answer is about. So whether you're an accountant, a lawyer, a doctor, some kind of service professional, you take your brilliance and you help move someone's life or business or career forward. Whether you're already in that business or you want to be, you want to start it alongside your 9 to 5, it is for you. Because what I know is your gift, your brilliance, your DNA is the answer to somebody's problem. So in those 2 days, I walk you through again what I call more, right? Your abundantly above all, more, I spell more out. So M is mastery of you. Because you got to understand the niche that God created you to dwell in. You're not everybody's answer. What's that one lane? What's the specialization? And how do you articulate it so that your ideal client hears you are their answer? Number one. And again, then even understand who your ideal client is because you're not everybody's answer. So many of us walk around saying, like, I have a lawyer that's a client. I'm a family practice lawyer. Okay, that's so general. Can we be more specific, please? Right? So working with her and really getting her to laser in on the fact that she does divorce, but not any kind of divorce, right? I can go on and on. So that's the first part of the first day. Second part, optimization. Because listen, I don't need you Facebook famous and broke. I need you to understand how to pull your ideal client in with the power of who you be. That you don't have to work really hard. You just need to be who you are. And I show you how to do that. Use the power of your story in your business to pull your ideal clients to you. Then everybody's favorite day two is revenue. How do you create multiple streams of revenue? Most billionaires don't tell you they have more than one stream of revenue. So we create 6 revenue streams for you in the room. And that same lawyer that didn't believe me walked away with 4 revenue streams from that one exercise. And then the last part of the second day is execution. Because listen, I said it earlier, faith without works is dead. How many times have you been to a conference and dare I even say church on Sunday and somebody goes, ooh, pastor, you might say, ooh, pastor was good. And people are like, well, what did he or she teach? You're like, you know why? Because they didn't give you anything to implement. See, I don't need you excited or motivated. That's great, but that just leaves you hope. And hope is gone in 2 days. I need you to be able to implement from our 2 days together. So I'm sending a swag box to your house with your workbook in it that we will work through and some surprises. So literally be the answer. And then we have next week, we start prayer on Mondays, a week of activation because we need God to be present. I'm clear. I am a vessel used by God. I'm coming to get you in alignment with who he's called you to be. If that's you, whether you're ready to start a business or you've been in business for years and you're not yet making predictable revenue, this is an invitation for you to join us. You can learn more at betheanswerevent.com. And listen, I was telling Cassandra before we started, I have a gift for all of Cassandra's people. So $100 off. But you got to send Cassandra an inbox message, Elevation Media Group, to get the coupon. And the reason I do that is because I always want to award the woman or the man, fellas, you're welcome to. I want to award the woman that goes over and above. Because if God said abundantly above all, you can ask a thing, then I need you to go abundantly above all than being lazy and normal, right? and know this, betheanswerevent.com. So know this, you come empty. I'm coming full to give you everything you need. Oh, and we do networking. So you'll meet your next accountability partner. You'll meet other women that are in the journey with you that will be your business bestie, your mastermind sisters. And so literally, In those 2 days, end to end, you'll get a whole lot of Jesus, and we're gonna dance. We have a good time. And guess what? Cassandra is my production partner. So we will be at Elevation Media Group making it happen. She's bringing in a DJ. Oh, we're gonna have a good time, y'all. So BeTheAnswerEvent.com is where you go. We only have about, I think we may have a little less than 10 seats left. So if you know, like you should be in the room, and I keep it intimate. So it's not gonna be a whole bunch of people, okay? Because I really want to coach you and see you. And let me just say this last thing. When COVID happened, I used to do this event live. And last March, when COVID shut us down, and I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? God began to remind me of my TV and film background. See, all things work together for the good. And when I started calling studios, they were like, how did you know to call us? And how did you know to ask for this? Because I did this. See, God knew that my production background would come in handy in this moment. And so when I shifted to online, I wanted to have the same experience as an in-person event. I don't want you to feel like it's another Zoom meeting. And baby, it doesn't. Because literally it's a whole production. I'm so excited that Elevation Media Group is my partner, because you guys, listen, world class, no stone unturned for you. We're going to have a good time, and you're going to learn everything. And on top of all of that, I can see you. I was afraid, because one of the things that God will drop in my spirit, things that I should coach you through. And I was afraid I wasn't going to be able to do that online, but I can. So I'm excited. You don't have to get on a plane. You can have your slippers on. You can have on your PJs at the bottom, as long as you dress from the waist up. And to be honest with you, I got on my workout pants still. So you can do the same thing and be the answer. All you need to do is come and join us and be ready to have your entire purpose be shifted in ways you didn't even know possible.
Nicole, one thing I want our viewers to understand is God's divine timing. Someone has been praying for ways to expand their business or their idea. Yeah. And even for God to connect you with Elevation Global Media Group, you are an answer to my prayer. So what I want people is not to take it lightly or think it's a coincidence that you are listening to this. Right. God wants to take you further. He wants to elevate you. He wants to help you to level up. Yeah. And so know that this is all his divine plan and order. And so, and like I said, to connect with Elevation Global Media Group, let's just say while we were still we're still in our Pampers.
You might still be in your Pampers, baby. You've been doing this a long time. So right. Whereas a production company might be new, you ain't new to this. You true to this, right? Yeah. Got all my little rap song references today. So Placida, and girl, if I'm messing up your name, girl, again, just know I'm hooked on phonics. It's October 1st and 2nd. So not this weekend, it's next weekend. I do it on Friday and Saturday because I want you to be able to sit Sunday with everything you learned. And those of you that have a full-time job still, I want you to be able to marinate and be able to start activating it before you go back to work on Monday.
Ooh, that is important.
So we start pre-activation on Monday, meaning that every evening, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of next week, we have pre-activation activities for you. Monday's prayer. Tuesday, I get you ready. Because listen, I need you to understand, you can't put new wine in old wineskins. And so I'm going to say this final Bible verse, right? Romans 12:2 says, do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. I need to renew your mind. Because listen, who you are today is done. I'm not coming for her. I'm coming after a version that you have not yet become. And so we've got to expand everything if you're going to go after your abundantly above all. And that's why we do pre-activation. That's why also you get an online program called Big Bold Move, which is all journal work, so that we can expand you before you even get in the virtual room on October 1st and 2nd. So if you know, like, you know, that this is your answer, BeTheAnswerEvent.com. I appreciate you, Latrice. Reach out. Get your $100 off from Cassandra and get in a seat. I promise you. You come. I'll give you everything you need to move it forward. And listen, there are testimonials on the website, BeTheAnswerEvent.com, from women that came to the first virtual experience last year, right? Yes, new wine. And I love me some wine too, girls. So, you know, those of you that know me, you know, I love that reference. So.
And, you know, guys, I can really, I do know some major people that have gone through Nicole's coaching program. And when I say major, I'm talking about NBC, ABC major. Okay. I'm not going to name drop, but I want you, without knowing all of that, who that is, listen and hear what God is saying for you, because you've been praying. And I just believe that Nicole is the answer for someone today. Yeah. I believe somebody has been praying, how can I take my business higher? How can I generate more income for my business? How can I really tap into those? You said 6 streams. What is it that I need to do to tap into the 6 streams? I'm going to be there in the class. Okay. I'm going to be there. So you said, Nicole, I do want to clarify some things. You said you coach more service providers.
Mm-hmm.
So would that be a real estate agent?
Yep, real estate agents. I have a number of real estate agents. Let me explain to you. All of us have intellectual property. All of us. And this is my humble opinion, so don't yell at me when I say this, but I've been doing this for 28 years. When you limit yourself to just a product-based business, you're capping off how much money you can make, because you've got to produce, you got to pay for things to get created first and then sell them. Your intellectual property is already created. All we've got to do is produce it. So I'm not saying don't have a product-based business. You can do that too if you choose to. But what I'm coming for is your intellectual property, because people need that inside of you. So whatever that is, I literally have a real estate agent right now that's in my program that's working with me, that we're helping women understand how to create wealth from real estate online program. So there's so many ways, but we've got to get clear. It's not just about making money though, y'all. I need you to get this. So when you make more money, you create more meaning in this world. You become a good steward of your gift. So what I mean by that, my pastor used to say, time, talent, and treasure. You're supposed to give 10% of your time, your talent, and your treasure. Well, God is who gave us our talent. So when we get clear and we start to serve the people that need us, we're being a good steward of the gift God gave us. His gift back to us is the revenue that comes. See, when you make more money, you do more good in the world. That means you can pay for your kids to go to college in cash. That means you can buy your parents a home in retirement. That means, like, even for me, I was able to buy I owned the house. I was able to totally gut out the house I grew up in and redo it the way my mother wanted. And then she told me she was moving to Vegas. I was able to sell that house and make double, but I didn't know I was going to sell it. I was redoing it for my mom. I want y'all to get this. So blessings always come back to you. But when you make more, you're able to do more in this world. It creates more meaning for you. So when I'm talking about revenue, I'm talking about the money that gives your life meaning.
That's it. Look, a blessing. You're blessed to be a blessing.
Yep.
Blessed to be a blessing.
Yep.
So Nicole, tell our viewers again how to register and what they need to do.
So betheanswerevent.com is where you go. So Cassandra has a limited number of $100 off coupons. All you got to do is send her an inbox message. She'll tell you the coupon. And the reason I'm doing that again, because I can say it out loud, but I want the woman that's willing to go for it. That's when I say, girl, that's my seat. Right. And just because you watch the replay, don't think that they're gone, because so many people will be lazy. And I said it. So many people will be lazy because let me say this. Your comfort and your conviction can never coexist. God is not going to reward you wanting it to be easy. Not. Ask Oprah. Listen, y'all remember she entered the Oprah Winfrey Show, which was doing really, really well. And she started the Oprah Winfrey Network. She failed the first year. Oh, I bet you her friends were like, girl, go back and do the Oprah Show. Girl, you should have never quit that anyway. But she was clear that it was time for her next level. It was time for her more. And she stayed in there. And baby, OWN is my favorite network now because she stayed in, right? So the same thing is looking and coming for you now. What will you do? Will you stay in comfort or will you go after your conviction? I'm looking for the women that are going after their conviction. I'm talking to you. You inbox Cassandra, get that $100 off, okay? So again, betheanswerevent.com is where you go, learn all the information, get your code, and grab your seat, and we'll start the pre-activation activities on Monday.
Well, Nicole, we're going to put that website up again so people can see that. There we go. So if you need to take a picture with your cell phone right now, go ahead and do that so you can have it.
Right.
And if you have a friend or just a girlfriend or family member that need to be in that room, don't be stingy. Share.
Yeah. Because it should be your next accountability partner. Listen, when you grow together, you can hold each other accountable. You can share. Yeah. You're going to meet other women. I'm going to do the same thing. I can't help but build community, because entrepreneurship can be lonely. The other reason why I do everything in community. I want you to be able to find people that can roll with you. Because listen, when God impregnates you with purpose, can't nobody push that out but you.
So you guys got the website. Nicole, is there any nuggets that you wish to leave before we close out our session?
Yeah, so I said this earlier, but I'm going to say it one more time. When we each are born to this world, God invests so much in us. He gives us DNA. He spends special time to be really specific with how he crafts us. So the fact that you have a natural propensity to be good at certain things and love certain things, that's not a coincidence. That's intent. God was intentional. So my question to you is, what's God's return on his investment in you? What will you give back to God? Those of you that are ready to give God a great return, I look forward to serving you and be the answer.
Ooh. So, Father, we just thank you right now. We pray a blessing over Be the Answer event. We pray a blessing over Nicole, God. And we also ask that those that you have pricked their heart and you've put some fire in them, God, that they will now activate their faith.
Yes,
God,
Lord.
we thank you for this event. We thank you for the lives that's going to be changed. We thank you for the transformation, and we thank you for Nicole and her team. God, continue to breathe on them, continue to speak to them, continue to have your hand on them. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, Miss Cassandra. Love you, girl. I look forward to working with you next weekend. Yay!
All right. Thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you next weekend in the room.
Yes. Looking forward to it.
Hi, I'm Cassandra Ferguson, co-host of Maintain Monday and Elevation Rewind. During this segment, we're going to dive into leadership. We're going to talk about leadership, and I have over here with me Cassandra Braswell. We're going to be discussing, we're going to be diving into exactly what leadership should be.
Cassandra Braswell, host of Maintain Monday and Elevation Rewind.
We're going to talk about leadership.
We're going to talk to you about sisterhood.
We're going to talk about marriage.
We're going to talk to you about friendship. I truly believe leaders are built. Leaders are groomed. Leaders are equipped. We as the leaders can't just be leaders in title. We can't be worried about how our position is going to exalt us. Rather, I think we need to exalt others. We also love to invite guests on our show. Today we have with us Eric Braswell and Antonio Ferguson.
When you hear the word leadership, what comes to the forefront of your mind?
It's the ability to manage and control self towards, I can control my love towards others, I control my plans, my thoughts, my emotions, myself towards my goals.
And also for our young, we have the Young and Bold segment. So it's time for the leaders to start activating the gifts in their people.
Also been digging into purpose. Why am I here anyway? What is it about me that God wants to get out to the world?
Join us on Maintain Monday and Elevation Rewind.
Monday on Maintain Monday on Facebook Live.
As well as follow us on Instagram and Twitter, Elevation Global Media Group.